everyone, guess what time it is? Back to school. The school videos are gonna start full on as of right now. So let's get into this, shall we? In today's video, I want to talk to you about how to start strong a new semester, and most importantly, how to keep going strong for the rest of the semester. So my first tip for you is, after each day of school in your first week, you take down the syllabus for each class. It's kind of like a mini summary of what the course entails with important dates and whatnot. So take all of those, put them on the table in front of you after each day, and write down in your agenda, in your book, on your calendar, on your fridge, just write down all the important events or the tests, when are the projects due, when are the assignments due, and like what readings need to be done by X week. So that way you are fully planned. Your entire semester should be planned after your first 2 weeks. Like, you should know what to do and what you have to do for the entire semester after you've had your first classes. Like, this is gonna give you like a visual map of what needs to be done, and then you can plan your time to sort of like figure it out, what you should pay more attention to, or what classes require less like effort, what classes require more effort. My second tip for you is definitely, the second you get your textbooks, start reading. Don't wait. Do not fall behind on your readings. Trust me, I've been there. It's the worst when you realize that before a midterm you have like 2 weeks left and you haven't read since chapter 3, you stopped, and you have until chapter 12 to read. It's killer. You'll stress, you won't understand anything. Look in your syllabus, know what you have to read, and start already from the get-go. The second you have your textbook, go. My third tip for you has to deal with like when it starts to dwindle down in the middle of the semester, or after you had your first midterm or whatnot, and when you just like start feeling that, oh wait, I was excited, but at the end of the day it's school and I don't feel like doing this. I would much rather YOLO and just Instagram and whatnot. So it is very, very important that you set up daily schedules, daily timetables that you keep up with through the entire semester. Or if you don't like daily timetables because it might be too like intense for you, like every day you have something to do, which is kind of like in dream world, right? We would do work every single day, like that's every teacher's dream, but let's kind of face it, none of us really do that. Maybe a weekly timetable, but definitely give yourself kind of like another visual representation of what you have to do in a week, or I won't say a month, that's too much. You need weekly or daily or I don't know, bi-weekly or something, timetables, so you keep at it, so you know you have stuff to do every week, every day, not just like when the midterm comes, you know. This is gonna help you kind of in a way stress out a little bit, so you're like, oh my god, I have seven chapters to read by like 2 weeks from now, like it's kind of time to do them. Because if not, everything's gonna appear too far, too vague, and too like heavy. And the midterm is in 2 months. So it's in 2 months. I have time. No, it's an illusion. You have to do things every week until that midterm. So when the midterm comes, those 3 days that you have left to study, you're not spending it reading, catching up on your lectures because you missed a few. You know, everything's ready, you just have to study. So it will take a lot of pressure off you when that midterm or when that final comes. So definitely keep at it, give yourself a schedule, and stick to it. I would highly suggest that you give yourself small goals every week or every 2 weeks. Every day is a bit too intense, but if you can give yourself small goals every day, that's amazing, and I applaud you, my good sir or ma'am. But I would suggest give yourself mini weekly goals. This is also a way to help you stay on track and keep going and not lose focus. So let's say you have to read 12 chapters until the midterm, which is in like November. You need to organize it and give yourself like, okay, this week I have to read chapter 1 and 2. This week I have to read chapter 3 and 5 or 3 and 6, so I don't know what teachers sometimes skip chapters. I know how to count. Don't worry. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't make your entire goal be like 12 chapters for November, because that's when the midterms is. That's too vague, and it's gonna appear huge, and you're gonna be like, every time you want to start reading, you're gonna be like, but I have 12 chapters to read. Ah. So this way, when you give yourself mini goals, when you start to read, when you get in there, sit down, ready to go, you're like, oh, I only have 2 chapters to read for this week. Next week, oh, I only have 2 or 1 or maybe 3 chapters to read. It's less of a bam than like sitting down and be like, oh my god, I have this much to read before my midterm. How am I gonna do this? The last thing I want to talk about has to do with motivation. Motivation is key when you're doing all of this. Whether it's school or life or work in general, you need to stay motivated. That's the key. And some people have a hard time defining self-motivation or giving examples on how to stay motivated. What I suggest is people are motivated by different things. And I'm pretty sure that by now you kind of know what really pushes you, what really drives you. Some people it's the grades, like you cannot stand to have anything below A-, like it just eats at you, so that motivation to get an A is gonna be enough to push you to work and to whatnot. But some people need a little extra something something. I would associate that work time with something positive. That way, every time you need to do some schoolwork, your brain is gonna link it with something positive, something enjoyable, and that way it's gonna kind of like motivate you. So let's say you can give yourself a little reward. So let's say every time after I read a chapter, I'm gonna watch like 3 YouTube like videos or something like that. But no way in any other context am I allowed to watch YouTube videos only after I read a chapter. So that way you associate reading with like fun. Or what I used to do when I had like chemistry classes or intense math classes, when I did the practice exercises, to me it was like at one point it became second nature. So you just do them and do them and do them, and I don't want to say this, but your brain kind of like goes on automatic and you kind of know what you do. So, but it's still boring when you have to do like 35 exercises. At one point you're like, ah, this is so boring. What I used to do is I used to listen to music when I did my math or my chemistry, and that way I associated like practice questions and mathematics, which is like, let's face it, math, but I associated with me time, with calm, with listening to something I like, with just being in my bubble, and time passed by so fast, and I was actually looking forward to just have my me time. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to me if you like what you see. School is here, it's officially here. That means I am full on working my bum off to produce good school videos, because that's kind of my thing, you know? So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Any discipline, anything. I've done pretty much every sort of class there is, and I will do your requests.